All right, Coach, you guys had the great game last week on Friday, and Drew had the monster game. Just what was the fallout from that? Did you hear from a lot of people about that game, or what was the reaction to that?
Yeah, I mean, I think just anytime you're on national TV on a Friday night, a bunch of your buddies are laying in the hotel preparing to get ready for Saturdays. And so, I think Drew just continues to become a phenomenal story, all across of America. I think, and rightfully so. I mean, here's a kid that continues to just get better each and every week. I mean, continues to grow. And so, it was definitely his best passing performance. And I think our wideouts had a lot to do with that. He'd be the first one to tell you. But he got us in some really good checks. And I thought, to have 300-plus yak yards is a really good night. But started off hot on that first drive through a great go ball. Cam Dorner makes a phenomenal play. And then we went through a little bit of a lull. It seemed like we moved the ball so well in between the 20s. And kind of shot ourselves in the foot a little bit there when we got in the red zone and weren't able to capitalize, allowed them to kind of keep in the game. And then all of a sudden you look up, and you go into halftime and it's 17-7. And then, from that point on, I thought our guys did a phenomenal job just responding. Defense was lights out in the second half. I think they had six of the 7 drives were 3 and outs. They were able to get us the ball back quick. Dalton Carnes was phenomenal on the fake punt attempt down there in their own territory. And I think those big plays like that, and really, we were probably in the worst call we could be in for that fake punt. And Dalton had great eyes, great recognition. He was our contained player, playing it from a new spot, and he did a great job just reacting extremely fast, going and making a play. So there's a lot of people that made plays. I think obviously when you throw for 600 yards, that's going to get the national attention, the media, and all those people fired up. But there's a lot of things that went into that. I thought in the second half we put Jim Toe back in, and our pass protection was fantastic in the second half. And so, there's a lot of pieces to the puzzle to make that happen. But yeah, proud for Drew, and proud for him to get the exposure that I think he deserves right now.
Yeah, is that kind of a double-edged sword for you guys? As a young guy with eligibility left in this era of college football, to have him shine like that on national television?
Yeah, I think I've got as good as anybody of being where my feet are, knowing, that we've had roster change around here before, and then being able to coach and love the guys that we have on our team right now. And so it's something that doesn't cross my mind. We're focused, and truthfully right now, to have such a great historic program coming in here, I think there's only 5 or 6 teams left undefeated in the FBS right now, and we get to face one of them at home in November. And so I think anytime that you set yourself up to play for meaningful games in November, that means you're doing something right. And obviously it's going to be a huge challenge for us this week with the guys coming in. They got 3 or 4 seniors on this team that are as good as anybody in the nation. Quarterback, split back, running back, defensive tackle that I think could play anywhere in the nation right now. And so we'll have a hefty challenge in front of us, but exciting to be able to play in these games at this time of year.
Yeah, you mentioned Navy being undefeated. The race in the American has gotten really interesting. Do you guys start to look at that with just the amount of no loss and one loss teams in the league at this point?
Yeah, and I don't even know the formula. Doug does a nice job from time to time. I was texting the other day, I don't even know who we want to beat who at this point. And so obviously if we don't do our job, then none of those things come to life for us. And so, and especially, having a challenge like this coming up, they need all of our focus, all of our attention right now, which they're getting, obviously, and playing a team that's this creative on offense. This quarterback can hurt you with his feet. They're creative, and they do a bunch of cool play action stuff off of the run game. Once they get it going, they shift, they motion, they get electric players. And so yeah, just for us to stay in this tunnel vision mindset right now this week. And then obviously knowing that a bye week's coming up where we need to, get healthy a little bit and let some of these older veteran guys rest. But yeah, I thought today was a great start on a Tuesday practice. Obviously, we'll have to come back and correct some stuff on a Wednesday and be able to get everything firing on all cylinders to give us a chance to win this game.
Yeah, what's your guys' health look like coming into this game? I know you had a lot of guys that were game time decisions that were out this last week.
Yeah, I think pretty good right now. I mean, I think the hope is to get Gabe Blair back in the lineup this week. The hope is to have Jimto out there the whole entire game. Hopefully day by day, McKenzie working back into some stuff. Miles is working back into some stuff. I think for the most part, I mean, we're a little banged up, just natural stuff at this time of year where you got, some soft tissues here and there. You got, some sore shoulders, some banged up, lower extremities, all those different things. But for the most part, pretty healthy going into this one.
Yeah, and just what do you see in Navy as a team? I mean, you mentioned a little bit about them offensively.
Yeah, I think just with the older guys that are the key guys on their team, starting with their quarterback, just phenomenal player that, obviously was able to catch on TV a couple weeks ago, them in Temple, and they go, they're not known to be, this up-tempo 2-minute drive offense. And all of a sudden, I think it was fourth down and he splits the safeties on a quarterback power and takes it the distance. And they did a great job converting the 2-point conversion to win to win that game. So I think they're a little bit battle-tested like us. I'm a big number guy. Number 22 reminds me of Wyatt Young. I mean, 6 foot, 200 pounds, split back that they try to get the ball in all different ways. This tailback's big and strong. He's a big guy that likes to get it downhill. And maybe my favorite player on their team is a defensive tackle, 96, that just plays with as good a leverage effort. I don't think they ever take him off the field. He's a guy that they believe in, that has the stamina to play a whole entire game, which you don't see a ton at defensive tackle. And then I think just, Coach Newberry does a phenomenal job. I think since he's taken over this program, which I guess this is year 3 now, I mean, just you've seen the strides this team. I mean, they were, top in the country last year rushing the football, creative, find ways to get all these playmakers different touches throughout the game. And then defensively, I mean, I just think they're aggressive. They blitz, they zero blitz, they play coverage. And so, it'll be a challenge for Drew to just be able to see kind of what's going on and get us into stuff that we like. And last time we played them there, I thought we had some nice explosive plays on some of the things, but they were able to force some turnovers in some key spots where the quarterback didn't get the ball out of his hands, and so it'll be a challenge.
Yeah, is this one of those games where you're going to have to value possessions and capitalize when you do get the ball?
I think they're all that way in college football. If you look back even last week, against Charlotte, all those possessions that didn't end in points ended up putting ourselves in a bad position in the first half. And then, in the second half, we're able to capitalize on some things and score some touchdowns. And so, I think not settling for 3 and being great in the red area. I think this isn't a team that's as conscious, I don't think, as Army, where, they want to get 3 yards every play. I mean, this offense is explosive. Now, they're not going to go warp speed, but I think they're a little bit more creative and they get the ball down the field, and I think they probably have a lot more explosive plays if you looked it up. I think a little bit different than ball control Army, but for us to be able to protect the football and win the turnover battle and all those different things, I think will be crucial in this game for us.
How important does getting that experience against Army kind of weigh on your preparation, especially defensively against a team with a guy like Horvath?
Yeah, I think, although they're different, I think you train your eyes, multiple weeks for the triple, and I think the triple is something that's so deceptive, and that's where, when you see it real time, it's so much faster, and their ball handling skills are so much better than what our scouts can provide, because it's what they do year round. And so I think anytime, when you have to do that multiple weeks, although, they present a different arrangement of challenges, in my opinion, than Army did. But the eye discipline is so key in some of this stuff, because they will run some option, they run belly and G lead and triple and then, but they're going to come back, with some more, motions and shifts and try to get the ball down the field a little bit more off of those. And so I think the biggest thing is just the eye discipline that we have to play with.
You mentioned your receivers having a lot of success. Wyatt Young especially, second in the conference in receiving yards, first in touchdowns. What have you kind of seen from him, and how does he continue to just elevate his game, even with that nagging kind of shoulder injury? He was wearing that little brace on his shoulder.
Yeah, tough kid, and I think just Drew trusted him. I mean, he was phenomenal over the middle. I think, as this is year 2 for the kid to ever play wide receiver. And so I think in year 2, you're really starting to see the growth and how comfortable he is running these routes and manipulating defenders and getting in their blind spots. And yeah, I think, Drew, it's somewhere where I think when you start building that and they start making the plays for you down the field, a quarterback just comes that much more comfortable with you. And so I think, you could argue, him, Cameron Dorner's kind of trending that way for us. Landon, I don't know if it's the biggest game he's had since he's been here yardage-wise, but another guy that had some huge catches for us in that last game. And then I thought, our running backs are doing a nice job in the passing game as well, getting the ball to Caleb in different ways, throwing it to him. I mean, I think he continues to provide you like multiple ways of hurting a defense, and it's not just where they can key on him and he just want to get the ball downhill in the run game, which we do. But, to be able to get him in space has been something that's been good for us.
You mentioned Navy has been very explosive this year, especially that touchdown against Temple that they had to win it. What did Charlotte kind of do to expose that, especially with y'all giving up big plays in that pass game?
Charlotte was super aggressive, blitzed way more than I thought that they would going into it. Even on, some of our tempo stuff, and then kind of when we were able to figure out what their MO was, I thought we were able to use that against them a little bit. But did a nice job stopping the run. I thought it was something that, I thought they committed to it. They moved the front a ton of different ways. And then, kind of as we wore them down a little bit in the second half, we were able to establish a little bit better of a run game and hit some explosives on them. But yeah, super aggressive. I mean, they're blitzing people from everywhere and more than we had seen on tape. And so I guess that was their game plan. And did a nice job, I think, kind of throwing us off for a little bit. But then with that comes, you're a little bit lighter in the back end, and we were able to exploit them on some stuff, I thought, down the field, throwing the football.
Obviously you guys are in a race for the conference championship, and there's still a college football playoff spot on the line as well. But recently, the G5 spot, over the past few years when they expand the playoff, has been at scrutiny. People say the G5 shouldn't get that representation. What is your kind of feeling on people wanting to leave out the G5 and, especially in the American with how talented it's been this year, leaving them out of the spotlight?
Yeah, I'll tell you, it's been fun for me to watch even all these other teams, between Memphis and Tulane and obviously Navy that we're playing right now, South Florida, and these people being on some national stages and being able to get the job done. I mean, I'd argue that this conference is as strong as it's ever been. And so obviously, I think this is what people love about sports is to be able to get an underdog Cinderella story. You get tied to these storylines. I think that's helped us a ton this year with Drew's story, obviously, is something that's compelling to people across the world. That's why people love March Madness and to see, to get that opportunity on the big stage. And although, our resources might not be the same, we got a lot of kids that are going to play football for a long time around here. And so, yeah, we got to continue to focus on what we can control, and obviously that starts with winning one game a week and beating Navy. But yeah, it's been fun for me just to be a part of this conference and know these coaches and respect a bunch of these coaches that are in our league and to kind of watch them put together, some of these rosters when the turnover's been real and maybe, the funds not be as high as some other teams is I think we got some really, really quality programs and coaches in this conference.
Hey, Coach, just wanted to ask about Kiefer Sibley. He's been able to put together a couple nice performances these last 2 games, even in the midst of Caleb Hawkins and Mackenzie McGill getting majority of the carries. Just what have you seen from him? Yeah,
Keith's somebody that we trust in a lot of different roles on this team. Somebody that, is kind of has been unfortunate for Kiefer these last 2 years just because I think both years he's gotten in a kind of a groove a little bit, and he started playing really good football, and he's just gotten banged up a little bit, and both times has been his knee, and but has busted his tail to get back healthy right now. Someone we trust, someone that when he's healthy, continue to earn more and more opportunities to get on the field. I think obviously he's been able to show that he's been able to run in between the tackles with 2 touchdowns last game. I think you saw him on the draw play a week ago, UTSA being able to score a touchdown at the end of the game, really good in open field. So I think he's a complete back and someone we really trust. Just we got to keep him healthy.
Eric, apologies if it's something you've talked about before, but I don't know if I've seen GoPros on quarterback helmets in a practice before. What was the advent with those?
I'm not a big believer in them, although I know some people are. So it started because our quarterbacks have a lot of verbal communication, and you always get in the meeting rooms and you sit in there, and I run the tape and the offensive staff, and everybody starts blaming the other person on, hey, the quarterback didn't say it, or told him the wrong route, or didn't call the right protection. And so, for the most part, we use it to go back and fact check some people. And you sit there and you let, like, it's got great audio on it. And so, there's no more getting around like, oh, the O-line didn't hear, him check a protection or check the call or vice versa. And so I think we use it mostly for that. And I think, the quarterbacks watch it at times, just to make sure their eye placement is in the right spot. And so although they look cool and, I think could make the brain go a lot of different places when you go out there and see our quarterbacks have. We have some kind of cutting edge technology or system we're using. It's more so to avoid any fighting in our staff room, and we can call people out because, hey, the quarterback did say it, or hey, the quarterback didn't say it.
And you've spent years developing quarterbacks. What has working with Drew and developing him taught you about that process and what it takes to get a quarterback playing like he is now?
Yeah, I think it starts with just being able to process information extremely fast, and he's as good as anybody I've been around. Understanding someone we feel like we can put a lot on during the course of the week, and for him to go out and execute it in real time and see how fast his eyes progress through different stuff. When he might be reading a safety at some point, he might be reading a linebacker, it might be an RPO read, where we're reading space. It's something that he's almost flawless week in, week out on his true operation grade when we grade him out. And so to see that, and I think, we've had different types of athletes back there. We've had guys that really utilize their legs as a runner. We guys that utilize their legs as remaining a passer in the pocket. I think his pocket presence is just phenomenal, and he's able to flip his hips, and he always stays ready to throw the football. He doesn't have much wasted movement in his motion, which I think allows him to do that. So yeah, just a bunch of great characteristics that you want in a quarterback. But I think, all the great ones I've been around, it starts with their brain, and they're able to process information really fast. And to do that too, I think, there's an aspect of coaching, and I think, Coach Brophy, as quarterback coach, is phenomenal at getting prepared week in, week out.
Yeah, and just looking at Navy, are they a little bit different as an option team as compared to Army, who you played earlier in the year, just with the way they approach it?
Yeah, for sure. I think Army wants to slow it down, and they want to keep the ball in their hands and control the clock and do all those things. Whereas Navy, they want to do that thing, and they're going to run option, and they're going to run, this fullback right up the middle, big guy, and run some belly plays, and then, but then they're going to take more chances and be more aggressive at pushing it down the field. Off of that, so a little bit more creativity, I think, and which causes them, I think, to have some more explosive plays.
And just one last one on Kiefer here before we wrap up. Does he offer you maybe a little bit different dimension than some of your other running backs? Does he differ a little bit?
Yeah, I think so. I think I think Caleb and McKenzie are a little bit more powerful between the tackles. Running style. I think Caleb's been as good as anybody we've ever had here as far as making people miss in open space, and just making safeties miss and people kind of bouncing off of him. Strong runner. Kiefer's probably a little bit more of a scat back. I think he's a little bit smaller. He's a little bit more twitchy. He's able to really be good in open spaces on just making people miss, coming to balance, and so. Great vision, not the fastest person in the world. He's not someone that's going to go out and, be a track guy and be a 4.4 40 guy or any of those things. Although he does have enough speed, obviously, and he's shown it that, he can split safeties and score some explosive touchdowns for us.
All right, cool. Thanks, Coach.
Thank y'all.
All right, Ethan, so you guys came off, the great game. Your guys' last outing on that Friday night. Did that give you guys some good momentum going into this game against Navy?
Yeah, for sure. We didn't play a perfect game we wanted to. We're still looking to put together 4 quarters of ball, but I think we responded well coming out of the second half, and It shows that we can still play our brand of football at any given time, but we need to start fast, and that was a key message this week.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at the conference standings, you guys are in this thing now. There's only a couple of teams that are left unbeaten in league play. Is that just exciting for you guys? And have you looked at that? Just the fact that you guys do have an opportunity here.
Yeah, we knew from week 0 that we were going to control our own destiny. We can't let this outside news affect us. These are things that we can't control. So the message that we come in here every day with is we got to control our controllables, and if we can go 1-0 every week, we're going to control our own destiny and be exactly where we want to be in the postseason.
And of course, you guys are playing another option team with Navy coming to town. You played Army early in the year. Does the experience against the option help you guys going into this game?
Yes and no. Army and Navy aren't exactly the same schematically. Navy does a little bit more of the gun. They pretty much have 2 different offenses. But being able to read and react from the Army game, the tempo of the Army game is going to allow us to just be able to execute our jobs a little bit smoother. But the big thing is we just got to swarm the ball like a pack of pterodactyls and just come around and just execute our game. We'll be just fine.
Yeah, and the quarterback has had a terrific year for Navy. He's one of the better players in the country in terms of option quarterbacks. What do you see in that guy?
He's a great player. He's a good leader. He does a good job getting his offense in the right calls at the right times. And I think for us, we have to find a way to minimize him. He's going to make some plays, and we have to respond to it. But he's a good player. He's a good athlete. He's a good leader. But again, it's going to come down to us and how well we execute. And if we can do that, I think we're going to be just fine.
You guys have had some injuries. Some guys come in and out of the lineup this year, and had some guys, fill in those spots. How important has it been for you guys to have guys like Sadiq and some other players like that step up when you needed them?
Man, it's huge. Sadiq has done such an incredible job filling in. Obviously, the loss of June hurt, but like you said, we have to have people step up. It's next man up mentality. There's the expectations. There's no fall off between someone stepping up, and I think people like Sadiq have done a great job of that. You see Caleb done a good job of that. Kiefer's done a good job of that with McKenzie being banged up a little bit.
Yeah, and one guy that's really come on for you guys over the last couple of weeks is Wyatt Young. Mm-hmm. What have you seen from him, and what's he been like to play with for you this year? Man,
I've known Wyatt here for the last couple of years. He's a great dude. He's a great competitor. He's going to be a guy that does whatever it takes for his team. Obviously, you've seen him with the shoulder brace on, and that's a harness that it's going to limit your shoulder mobility. But he's still finding a way to catch the ball. It speaks to how much of a competitor he is, and that he's going to do anything for this team. And love that dude. I'll go to war with that guy any day. And seeing him on the offensive side of the ball gives us a lot of confidence.
Another guy that's kind of stepped forward for you guys is Kiefer, especially with McKenzie being down for a little bit. Has he really come on for you guys, and what have you seen from him?
Yeah, Kiefer's been a great addition to the running back room. He's a good back with good vision. He's done a great job stepping into the role he's been given, and I think he's going to continue to excel in that.
Looking back, Charlotte had a few explosive plays in that first half, especially in that first quarter. Was that something that kind of caught you guys off guard? Were you guys prepared for something like that?
We knew they were going to come out swinging. We knew that they had to. This was a must-win game for them, so we were ready for punches to be thrown. Again, like I said earlier, it came down to execution for us. We didn't execute when we needed to, but we came in here, we got that film corrected, and now we're ready to go execute again.
Speaking of stepping up, Dalton Carnes had a huge tackle on the fake punt in the fourth quarter. What is it like to see a guy like him step up in a special teams type of play to kind of swing the game?
Man, that was a great play. We weren't in a good call to defend that fake. I'm gonna be real honest, but we have guys with such good experience like Dalton on that unit that they're able to lead and turn around and make these kinds of plays. That we have so much confidence in that unit and our special teams that we're able to go send them out there confidently and defend anything.
Obviously, Navy runs the ball a lot more, but they don't allow a lot of sacks. They don't allow a lot of pressure. How important to be able to kind of bring a lot of those guys in blitzing defensively, being able to bring a lot of pressure to make Horvath possibly throw that ball?
Yeah, well, it all starts with stopping the run. They're going to be a team that prides themselves on running the ball and getting these yardages short at a time. Stop the run, you got to tackle the dive, you got to eliminate phases of the option. And if we do that, then we're going to be able to earn the right to rest the pasture. And I believe wholeheartedly our D-line can get up there and work their offensive line and make Horvath get under a little pressure.
Obviously you guys already played Navy this year, but you were able to play Robert Henry of UTSA, who runs the ball very well. How important was that for you guys to kind of get those eyes on a good running back? And, Navy has a plethora of those guys they throw in back there. How important was that?
Yeah, Navy's got a set of good backs. Again, it's just going to come down to, can we execute? Can we stop the run? They're not world beaters. They're good athletes. They're disciplined athletes. But if we can execute, we're going to end up being just how we need to be.
All right, cool. Thanks, Ethan.
Good. Thank you, guys.
All right, Wyatt, coming out of such a great game last week, just how do you feel like, where do you feel like you guys are at going into this huge game against Navy?
Where we're at? I think we're in a good spot. I think that, we've shown positive flashes on all sides of the ball, all three sides of the ball, special teams even, and I don't know, I feel really good going into this game.
Yeah, Drew had the monster game. You were a big part of it. Just now that you've had a chance to reflect on that a little bit, what was it like to be a part of that kind of record-setting performance?
Yeah, it's crazy. I feel, special to be a part of a game like that for Drew. Him throwing 608 passing yards was just wild. And hearing that after the game, I was super happy for him. And whole team was. Just being a part of a record-breaking game like that is always special to be a part of.
Yeah, and it wasn't just a big game for him. It was also a big game for you and kind of a breakout season for you this year. Why have you really taken that huge step forward this year? What's helped you get to that point?
Yeah, I just think in having an off season to really practice receiver like the full time, being focused on that, really helped me coming into this year. Just knowing what Drew wants me to do, where he wants to be every play, and how he wants me to run different routes when I see different coverages and things. I think that's helped me the most.
Yeah, because you didn't really play a ton of wide receiver in high school. At least that wasn't your full-time position. Was there just a transition period for you to get to this point?
There was, definitely. Lots of learning, lots of growth that had to happen between my freshman year and this year. But, I think it all worked out for the better.
Where have you grown? Is it the route running or just what is it?
Overall, the route running, yes, of course. Catching the ball, just tucking into every play and being able to be a playmaker after I catch the ball.
Yeah, you're playing for a head coach that was a great wide receiver in college, and this place has produced some good wide receivers. Has the coaching situation here helped you in your progression?
Absolutely, yeah. No, they jump-started my receiver process like 10 times more than it should have been. They got me going with learning how to run certain routes and giving me different ideas for my routes. So.
Yeah, and you guys are in this thing now with the way the conference race shapes up. Is that pretty exciting for you guys at this point in the year to be in the thing?
Definitely, yeah. No, we're really excited for that. It's something we strive for. So, we got to take it one game at a time, of course, but that's the end goal.
Yeah, and I was working on a story on Kiefer here. He's kind of come on this year. He's had some injury problems the last couple of years. What have you seen from Kiefer as he's progressed this year?
Yeah, he's grown a lot. He's a every down running back. I feel like he just runs with such determination and grit, and he just wants it, and we all want it for him. He's a great guy to be around. He has no problems with anybody on the team, just a joy to be around, honestly. So.
What makes him so fun to be around?
Just his vibes, just his aura that he gives off, I guess I could say. Just a happy dude, always happy to be here, always ready to work, and just great to be around.
You guys had a little bit of a slower start offensively in that Charlotte game. What did you guys kind of tweak in that second half to be able to explode like you guys did?
Honestly, part of it was that the game was too close and we needed to step it up. Honestly, the scoreboard kind of drove us to just take it to another gear and show everybody what we can really do and how UNT football should be played was the second half.
You guys have been, so far this year, really great in the red zone. But you had 2 turnovers in the red zone this past game. What has Coach Morse kind of done to kind of propel y'all back into the right spot against a really good Navy team in the red zone this year?
Yeah, I don't know. I think he just is going to put us in great positions this week to, capitalize on those drives. I think we did a great job marching the ball down the field. It's just sometimes in the red zone we just made a couple tweaks, and I think we're over that and should be good in the future.
Navy has had a lot of pressure this year defensively, and you guys have a very veteran offensive line. How much confidence do you guys have in them and to be able to produce every single game? Yeah, no, a lot. They're lights out going through blitz pickup every day of the week, so they're knocking out all their drills to be prepared for that. Your position group teammate Dalton Carnes had a huge tackle in the special teams. What was that kind of like to see him make that big of a play? And Ethan and Coach Morris said that wasn't really what y'all wanted to do in the special teams. What was that like to see Dalton Carnes? It was amazing. I was so happy for him. That was a great play. He diagnosed the whole play, read it, and made the perfect tackle. It was just such a great play, and brought a lot of energy from the sideline on. So
was great.
Obviously you guys are still competing for this conference championship stuff, and there's also always outside distractions in this time of NIL and college football. How do you feel like Coach Morris and the team in general have kind of adapted to that and been able to just move past it?
Yeah, I don't think that's our biggest focus. I think the team's really rooted on just winning every game. I think we're really determined to show the world what we can really do and that we're a serious football team and that people need to take us serious. So.
All right, cool. Thanks, Warren.
Thanks.